The Casio ABL100 and the G-Shock GDB500 are two relatively new releases from Casio, launched in the middle of 2024. They both feature a built-in accelerometer and Bluetooth connectivity, while shying away from being fully fledged smartwatches. If you're undecided about which one to get, I'm going to compare these two watches, which hopefully will help you to decide. We'll look at factors such as the price, design, build quality, features, and comfort of wear. The winner of each round will score a point, and the overall winner will be the one with the most points. The reason for comparing these two watches is because they both come with Bluetooth connectivity. This means that you can set their functionality from the Casio Watches app should you wish to do so, or you can use the watches on their own without the app. Note that they are not smartwatches, so there's no touchscreen, email notifications, and you can't skip music tracks. In my opinion, that's a good thing, as I have shied away from owning a smartwatch with their constant need for charging. They both have an estimated battery life of 2 years, but I'm expecting it to last longer, as they have a power save function that shuts them down when not in use for a few hours. Even when the time comes for a battery change, it's easy to do it yourself in around 10 minutes, as I've shown in this video. And the CR2016 cell that they both use can be purchased for around £3. Now let's take a look at the first factor when considering their purchase, and that is their price. The ABL100 retails for £70 sterling or $80 and the GDB500 retails for £100 or $120. Before you hit the purchase button on either of these two watches, it's worth it to spend a couple of minutes looking for voucher codes on Google. I found one for 20% off on the Casio UK website, so you may find similar codes in your region. So as this round is based upon price alone, the point goes to the ABL100 for having a lower retail price. The next round is design, and the ABL100 has a retro design similar to the A168 surrounding the modern 3565 module. It is slightly larger than the A168 with a diameter of 41.5mm, and so it has more wrist presence. The faceplate is vintage inspired with a blue border and text for the button operations. The LCD display is also larger when compared to the A168 and is divided into 3 lines. All versions of the ABL100 comes complete with a steel multi-row bracelet, and in my opinion the ABL100WE1A that I'm showing you is the nicest looking version. If you're after a different look, other varieties are also available. For the GDB500, Casio have chosen to encase the 3552 module that it uses in a futuristic looking case. The orientation of the case seems to be in portrait mode rather than landscape mode, which enables it to have a narrower diameter of 41.5mm. Casio also say that this is one of the thinnest G-Shocks in production, with a thickness of 11mm, which is slim for a G-Shock, but is still not as thin as the ABL100, which measures 8.2mm in thickness. The version that I have is the GDB500-7, and other colorways are also available. If I had a choice, I would have purchased the GDB500S, which is this version, but it's only available in certain regions and is not available in my country. It's the only version in the range that has the closest to a positive display, and I would probably avoid getting a negative display for this watch as it's illegible to read indoors. And that's coming from a fan of negative displays. The case design is an interesting feature of the GDB500. As mentioned, it is aligned lengthways instead of horizontally, and there are strap connectors at the end instead of traditional lugs. The LCD display is also divided into 3 sections like on the ABL100. The information that it displays can vary depending upon the mode that the watch is in. For instance, the top line can either show the day of the week or a graph showing your daily steps. Choosing the winner of the design round is going to be subjective. The ABL100 has a retro design and the GDB500 has a futuristic looking design. One is not better than the other, and it's up to the individual to decide which one they like. Quite frankly, I like both designs, and for this reason, they get a point each. Let's move on to build quality now. The ABL100's case is made of resin with a chrome covering. The pushers are made of steel, and the crystal is also made of resin. For the price of the watch, I would have liked to have seen mineral glass being used for the crystal, as I imagine that the acrylic crystal will be easy to put a scratch on. I imagine that the chrome finish on the case itself will also be easy to scratch unless you're really careful, but the case itself is moulded to a high standard with no sharp edges. On the back is a steel backplate held down by 4 screws, and it is marked as being water resistant with no ranking, meaning that it's not suitable for swimming with. The multi-row steel bracelet that comes with the watch is well made, and I would say that it's suitable for people with a wrist size of up to 7¼ inches. The GDB500's case and band are made entirely of resin. In addition to that, Casio's marketing material says that the case is made of glass fiber reinforced resin, and in reality it does feel quite sturdy. The whole watch feels solidly made when worn on the wrist, and you don't get any creaking noises as you do on some resin-based watches. The recessed crystal is made of mineral glass, and the backplate is made of steel held down by 4 screws. Water resistance is rated as 200 meters, as is the case with nearly all G-Shocks. The ABL100 does have a steel bracelet that's nicer than other steel bracelet models in Casio's vintage line. The case quality though is only on par with those watches such as the A158 and A168, and they cost a third of the price. The GDB500 on the other hand feels more robust. Plus it uses superior materials such as glass fiber reinforced resin in the case. For this reason the point for build quality goes to the GDB500. Let's now compare the features of the watches. These two watches have nearly identical features. There is a feature though that is on one watch and not the other. I'll let you know what that is later, but for now let's see what they have in common. Both these watches are Bluetooth enabled, and all their features can be set or amended by using the Casio Watches app. This app seems to be more robust than the G-Shock Move app. Connection to the app, for me at least, is straightforward, and the watch connects to the app on the first try most times. The other selling point is the accelerometer, and this is implemented on both watches as a step counter and activity tracker. If enabled, your activities can be tracked by using your phone's GPS. You can also set daily step count targets, and the watch can notify you to move more if it senses that you're being too sedentary. I can't vouch for the accuracy of the step tracker, but the two watches did record similar results when tested. Other features for both watches includes an auto calendar until the year 2099, 5 alarms, a stopwatch that can record up to 200 of your times, a countdown timer, dual time, and 12 or 24-hour display format. For the backlight, both watches use LED technology. The one on the ABL100 is amber in colour, and the one on the GDB500 is white. Here's what they look like. Now here's the only difference I could find between the two watches as far as features are concerned, and that is auto light. When auto light is enabled, the backlight turns on automatically when the wrist is tilted. The GDB500 has this feature but not the ABL100. So both these watches have nearly identical features. But as the GDB500 also comes with autolight that's missing on the ABL100, the point goes to the GDB500. And so on to the final round, and that is comfort of wear. But before we decide which watch wins this, let's check out some wrist shots. Both watches are comfortable to wear, but as a personal preference I prefer the thinner profile of the ABL100. The classic looks and thinner profile means that you can also wear it on formal occasions such as weddings and business meetings. Both watches are comfortable for all-day wear, but the thinner profile of the ABL100 makes it feel more balanced on the wrist. Plus it's more versatile as you can also wear it to formal occasions. So the point for comfort of wear goes to the ABL100. Both watches score 3 points each, and so it looks like we have a draw. Even though the result was a draw, I hope that this video has helped you out in some way if you're deciding to choose between these two watches. Thank you for tuning in to this video, I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you next time.